Hello again. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to give a little update on my Blenheim project. I've painted up a few more bases of infantry and 2 of dismounted dragoons. Now that's all the units that I've got in the lead pile, and I'm keeping an eye on backers to see when they open up their shopping basket again. But until then, that's as much as I can do. Now that's given me an opportunity to think about what the project's going to be in the end game, as it were. And so you'll see, I started to wonder what a Battle of Blenheim table might look like, what scale it would be, what size it would be, and how many units in total I would still have to go to get the French army complete, well, the Franco-Bavarian army, of course. So I will talk about that in a minute, but first of all I'll show you these dismounted dragoons. I'm going to turn the camera around. So here are the 2 units of dragoons I've got painted up. They look a little different from the others, less regimented obviously, and I've modelled them with their horse holder and their spare, well, their own dismounted horses on the back corner. Technically that's probably wrong for Blenheim, because the units of dragoons that were positioned between Blenheim and the Danube had their horses taken away and issued to the other units of cavalry in Talard's army, because the army had been suffering from a horse disease called glanders, and many of the mounts had succumbed. But I think the horses are necessary visually to identify them as dragoons rather than some sort of Freikorps unit. The backers figures are nice enough. You get a loading pose and a shooting pose for the other ranks, and then you get a drummer and a standard bearer and an officer alongside that. The standard bearer on mine didn't really have a moulded flag. I'm not sure it was intended to or not, but I've left it with the pole. I'm contemplating adding a flag or a Gideon, but I haven't made the mind up yet. Anyway, there they are. Right. Now to get a feel for how the project might look, I decided the best way to do it was to try and lay it out as if it were being set up for the battle. So I drew out 3 templates for the 3 villages that formed centerpieces for the French line of battle. Blenheim on their right, Oberglau in the centre, and Lutzingen on the left. And then I got a 4 metre long piece of lining paper. And the only place I could lay this out was in the lounge. I had to move some of the furniture around to get it. And once that was down, I was able to start positioning the units I painted and some bare bases and MDF bases for the units I have not yet painted, just to get a feel of what the whole layout might look like. and it looks pretty good. I'm not saying that I'm going to go and do the entire Franco-Bavarian army for the Battle of Blenheim, but I have to tell you, I am tempted. I'd have to put together another 103 units. There are 93 on this line of battle, and a further 11, so 104. A further 11 which are slightly off to the rear of Blenheim. I think it would look good. And the other thing that's highlighted to me was that I don't have enough 6mm buildings. There are 3 villages, towns here, and I could probably put together enough buildings for 1.5 of them to look good. But I couldn't do all 3. And when you start looking across the table at the Allied line, there's another 3 villages on the other side that would have to be populated. If I was making changes, I think I'd probably slightly reduce down the size of Lutzingen and Oberglau, just minor, because this just about fits on 4 metres, and I think the best that I can expect if I was to take this down to one of the clubs would be a 12-foot by 4-foot table. So I'd have to lose sort of 10 centimetres or so. No, actually a bit more than that. Yeah, a bit more than that. So I might have to think about how I'm going to represent that. Still a puzzle. But I'm glad I took the time to do the exercise. I think it came out quite well and certainly provided food for thought. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you again shortly, I hope. That's it. Thank you very much.